Welcome to Doctrine and Devotion, a podcast that explores Christian faith and practice from a Reformed Baptist perspective. My name is Joe Thorne. I'm the lead pastor of Redeemer Fellowship in St. Charles, Illinois.
And I'm Jimmy Fowler, executive pastor at Redeemer Fellowship.
Still at La Vida.
Here we are.
Still here. Game is still going.
That's it. Well, another game. This is a different game.
It's a different game now?
That's
it's
a
the
different
same
game.
guys.
No, it's not the same guy.
They've got the same color.
No,
green.
No.
Look at the green.
Wait, what? The other one was white.
They're green. It's, what do you call it? Wisconsin.
That's
yeah. Okay. Well, too bad. Commercials on. I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
No, Philadelphia,
agree to
Minnesota.
Disagree. Okay. Whatever. Same thing.
It's not the same
difference.
thing. It's totally different.
The guys are watching and they're letting us record in here, so we're gonna do a quick one.
Yep.
So they can get back to watching the game and not have us just talking over everything. Before we get into that, man, how you doing?
We
didn't get a chance to talk. I got in here. We recorded an episode. We didn't even chat.
No, I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Tired.
Yeah?
Good. I mean, it's Sunday when I'm working. Tons of stuff I got to do.
Well, you're not working right now.
No. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
Being your friend's a full-time job. But I'm only doing it part-time.
Yeah, I know.
I need to do it.
You get paid to be my friend. That's the only way I get friends.
That's pretty much it. The elder's like, hey, listen, just...
Joe needs a cuddle buddy.
No, I don't think they said that.
That's pretty much what they meant.
Sure
that's
not
what
they said.
And so yeah, that's why Jimmy came on staff. Yeah, man. So I've you and I have actually been sort of talking to each other about making some adjustments in our lives, personal lives, family lives, work, all that stuff. And we thought, well, why don't we talk about the ways in which we're trying, not that we're necessarily succeeding in every way, but we're working hard at achieving life balance. Yeah. Right. As it relates to the various responsibilities and things
vocation,
that we have.
Recreation,
podcast station. I don't know.
Relations.
Yeah, sure. Well, all those things.
All the Asians.
No, but when people think about like getting balance in their life, they're usually thinking family and work, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we chatted about this real quick. We said, okay, so what are the things that we're sort of using to help us walk through balancing out the imbalances that we're experiencing? And I think one of the things that we definitely notice is that family will sometimes be the first to take a hit when things get out of balance, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the easy one, right? That's because I think part of it is, and I think you've shared this before, if I remember correctly. That one's easier to take a hit, or the first one to take a hit, because we take for granted that they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go? Where's Jen going to go?
Yeah.
Where's Michelle going to go? She's Canadian. She'll lose her visa.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
right?
it.
Wait, does she have a green card or visa?
She got a green card. She owes me.
Yeah.
I saved her.
So we have a few things we want to talk about, and the first thing that comes to our mind when we talk about achieving balance is the issue of prioritization.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I know for us, we like to, get out a whiteboard or a sheet of paper and start writing down all the things that we have to do.
Yeah.
Right. And we write down everything, big things, little things, put it all down. And then you begin to, in a sense, rank them. Like, what are the most important things that have to come before others?
Yeah.
That then will allow us to say, okay, well, maybe I have to let go of some of these things. Some of these are maybe, some of these are no mores. Others are, I have to do them.
Correct.
So when I think of prioritization, I'm thinking about those things that are critical to my calling, right? Critical to my calling as a husband, as a father, as a pastor, as a friend, things like that. When you think about prioritization, what are some things that drive you as you're trying to establish what comes first?
Yeah, I mean, I think in those same categories, I think of, my family, I think of vocation, but I also, and I think you touched on this, also my spiritual life, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, right? How is my relationship with God? How is my time in the Word? How is my prayer life? Am I going through the motions, or is it fulfilling, I guess, right?
Yeah. You have to actually be really clear about these priorities. You can say, well, priority is a family. Okay, well, that's not really helpful to say family's a priority. What about it is like, so
that's
like
it.
My marriage is a priority. Okay, but what? Like, okay, so to seek the spiritual beauty and joy of my wife is a priority. That's more specific, right? It's clear.
Yeah. And I'm glad you you took mine, Joe, you took it from my notebook. That definitely is my priority.
Well, that's how I think about you as my podcast wife. I think I got to seek your spiritual beauty and joy.
Thank you. You're not doing very well.
Well, I'm just getting started. All right, give me a minute, sweetheart. So and you got to do that for everything, right? So not just work, but I want to, in my work, I want to faithfully represent and work for Jesus in my job while I seek to make a means by which I can support my family.
Yeah.
You got to be really specific about them. And that kind of leads us into the second one, that, to do this sort of work, like even to establish priorities, you probably would do well to do this not just on your own.
No. I think it's important to have others around you that you can get feedback from. I know that some of us, you and I, Steve, Pat, we're trying to do a better job prioritizing. We're trying to do a better job with
Okay, go ahead.
What?
Go ahead. What are we using?
Oh, we're using the Full Focus Planner.
Okay, there it is. I knew you would. Steve said, be sure and mention the Full Focus Planner.
Yeah.
Now you're just going to do whatever Steve says. Go ahead. What is the Full Focus Planner?
So I think Joe's a little upset right now.
I'm not upset. It's just not, it's okay.
It's because
it's fine.
There's 4 of us. 3 out of the 4 are following through on it.
Well, I've got it. It's in my bag. That's a start. It's big. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Well, that's just it, because there's a lot of things in our life that we got to
Acronyms
go through.
And acrostics and
it's not that hard, Joe.
Smarter
it's not
goals.
that hard.
SMARTER. Oh yeah. What does SMARTER stand for?
Yeah, you know exactly what it stands
that's right.
for.
That's
Actually, no, you don't, because you haven't been doing it.
I do. I've got it.
What does this mean?
Yeah, okay, so Maserati John just walked in. I know I tried to throw away my wrapper and it went in the floor.
But yeah, you want to be getting feedback. So, an example for me would be, I want to prioritize my time with family. I want to prioritize, and when I'm saying something specific here, it's I want to be present and active at home and a blessing to my wife and children.
So where do you get that feedback from?
I get that feedback from my wife and actually from my kids as well.
Yeah.
They've said a couple things in the past in the last few weeks. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I took note. Even though they're upset and they're emotional, I'm like, okay, that's still, there's something driving that.
Yeah.
But yeah, my wife was very clear that she needed me when I'm home to be present and active.
Yeah.
And so I had to take that feedback and kind of put some other things aside that I was doing.
FaceTime with the JoJo.
So to make sure that when I was home, that I was engaged, that I was helping, and so things like that. So, you got to get that feedback, because what I don't want is, and what I appreciate and I love about my wife is that she has that freedom to speak up, even though she knows I'm stressed and I've got a lot of stuff going on at work. She also knows that not to let something fester under the surface, and let's deal with this. When call me out for my sin, give me feedback on these things so I could reprioritize and make sure that I'm doing the things I should be doing at home.
On this issue of feedback, like you guys, and you've talked about this, you really learned the hard way, right? And we all do, but you've actually talked about this, that, when you weren't dealing with problems early in your marriage, like they festered, and it really caused major strife for you. Like your marriage was in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And once you began to really deal with it and talk and be open about it, you were able to then set the priorities, repent where necessary.
Exactly. Apologize.
So, and so we do this, if you're at your job, with your work as pastors, we're talking to the other elders, getting feedback on our schedule, on things like that.
And at work, you should be able to talk to your colleagues or your supervisor specifically. You should be able to get regular feedback from them, especially your supervisor. At least once a year, but I would be pushing for more, that regular feedback, so that so you could be progressing and moving and being a blessing, I think, in your workplace.
And feedback, asking for feedback is scary. Right?
Oh, yeah,
because you're basically saying, how am I screwing up?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. What do I need to change?
That's it.
So it takes a lot of humility to start that process.
Yeah. I get really uncomfortable when I'm asking for feedback from an employer, whether it's a church
or Pastor Brian.
No, he doesn't do this.
Okay.
That's why I appreciate Pastor Brian. But I'm really uncomfortable when they tell me everything's good. Then I'm okay, no, it's not. No, it's not. I know it's not good. Don't tell me it's good. Because then that either concerns me, A, they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Or B, I'm on my way out and they're just, you know what I mean? Like they're thinking, they're like, I'm not going to waste my time with you.
Exactly. It was funny. I was talking to Dane Ortling recently about people that we work with and interact with, whether it's, on writing projects or supervisors or whatever. And we both agreed, like, this is, we don't need nice guys around us that are so nice they don't want to say anything critical. We need the criticism. We need the correction.
Right.
So
and
that
that's
we can
why
actually
we
get
call him Pastor Brian.
Pastor Brian. Here, I thought you were going to say
the personification of criticism.
I thought you were going to say I don't like asking for feedback from Pastor Brian because he brings out a list. He's like, here, let me bring up my list for you. I got like
well, not even when you're asking for feedback, do you get the list. So,
Brian,
hey man, let's go for coffee. Okay, cool. Let me just pull out this list here. I got my phone things for us to work through. I'm like, oh man, Brian, I just want to have coffee.
But it is good. It's so helpful because Brian's actually thinking with us and for our good. All right. So number 1, prioritize. Number 2, feedback. Number 3, you got to adjust.
Yeah.
You can establish your priorities. You can get your calendar in order. You can schedule everything, but you're going to have to adjust. Sometimes from month to month. Definitely from season to season.
Yeah.
You need to be revisiting what you're doing, your priorities and your schedule consistently, regularly, because things change. Different responsibilities will crop up. And there's something that you could call, I don't know, the creep of busyness and responsibilities just kind of overtaking things that you had established to be the first priority, and they can slowly begin to get crowded out. So I would say you want to adjust regularly, and again, that'll be a part of the feedback will be a part of that as well. Yeah. But you don't want to say, oh, I've got it set and I don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the next one, number 4, would be consistency, right? So I think I know it's people would say, well, that goes without saying, but it's hard to be consistent. Yeah. It's hard to be consistent. It's hard to get that feedback that Joe was talking about. It's hard to prioritize. It's hard to adjust. But not only those things, but when you're doing the work, be consistent in the work because it's easy to get distracted. So when you're prioritizing, you're saying, here are my, from the full focus planner. Yeah, Steve, high five. You got your top 3 and then you got your other task.
Right.
It's easy to get distracted throughout your day where you allow other things to, as you just kind of talk about creeping in, you allow other things to get in there, and you got to be consistent in your system. You got to be consistent in your email workflow. You got to be consistent in your task list. Actually, I had a conversation with a colleague of mine at work about coming in my office and adding things on my desk and talking to me about things like give me updates on things that I don't care about. I actually had to sit down and say, listen, I know maybe I might come off abruptly. I might come off rudely, and please know that's not my heart. But my heart is this. When you're adding stuff to me that I don't need to know or distracting me, what you're doing is keep me away from my job, and then I work longer and I'm less time at home.
Yeah.
Right? So when you're doing that, you're actually sabotaging my time at home, and you're sabotaging my job performance. So please don't add things to my desk. Don't come talk to me about things that I don't care about, the dumpster, what dumpster got taken away and what dumpster is now in the back.
Right.
I really don't care. Don't tell me. I don't need to know.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think when you're talking about consistency, you're really talking about an aspect of just willpower, right? Like you've got to do the hard thing. It's not, I recently saw a tweet. Somebody asked Jocko, if you don't know who Jocko is, it doesn't matter, but he's a former Navy SEAL. He writes a lot about leadership and discipline. And somebody was like, man, what can you tell me to do to overcome my procrastination? I'm just really struggling. And his response was, stop procrastinating. Full stop. Like just done. Like seriously. Like what? Don't do that. And so consistency really is in large part like doing the hard thing.
That's
like
it.
Pushing through.
And I think part of that then is guarding yourself. Like being consistent means guarding yourself, guarding your priorities, guarding what needs to get done for the day. Because the moment you let your guard down and allow other things to creep in, is when you start to get derailed. And if you start to get derailed in the little things, it could potentially build to where you're just completely off the rails and not even using your full focus journal and just sitting in your bag, and it never comes out, and you don't use it at all.
It comes out.
When does it come out?
Yeah, well, so when the leg of the table that I'm sitting at is a little wobbly, I'll put the cover under one.
It's too big for that.
No, the cover.
Just the cover. Okay, good job. Yeah, that'll work.
With the idea of consistency, we talk about persistence, and the idea here is that you're going to fail, you're going to screw up. And, it's like, oh, wow, I just blew it. Things kind of fell apart here this week. And this is when you don't want to throw up your hands and say, see, I knew I couldn't be consistent. I knew I wouldn't be able to actually find life balance. And so what's the point? You don't give up there. You persevere.
Yeah.
You fall, and it's like, okay, well, listen, you had a month of consistency, and then you had a week that went crazy. Well, it's not like you're starting all the way back from zero. You had a good month. So, all right. Step back up and get going again. Own it, don't make excuses, but you gotta actually say, okay, I'm gonna keep going. And listen, you're never gonna get anywhere if you don't embrace the fact that failure is gonna be a part of your reality, right? A part of your progress is going to include failure, in daily senses, weekly senses, annual, and even just annually. You'll see like, wow, like this year I didn't accomplish what I wanted to, but I got to a certain degree. Right. Yeah. I made it it was better than last year, but I didn't accomplish all that I wanted to. That's not a total loss. So you got to be persistent, even in the midst of failures and discouragement, right? But sometimes things are just going to be out of your control.
Yeah.
Like things are like providentially, you're going to be hindered from doing the things that you really wanted to do. You don't have to despair. It's okay. God's not grading you on this. So like you're not going to be in God's favor or graces anymore. And if you are putting in the work of prioritization and you're getting feedback from people, you're including your spouse, your coworkers, and you're trying to be consistent, when you do fail, they're going to be forgiving, right? Because they're seeing that you're trying. You're not just, flailing about, constantly doing the same thing wrong over and over and over again.
And actually, on the flip side of that, I want to talk to those people because I'm talking about the if you see someone that's trying, support them in that, right? Like support them, because I think there's oftentimes there's this temptation that from when you're seeing someone that's struggling with something and they've struggled with it for so long and it's something that actually annoys you about them,
right?
And then they start to try and then they fail. It's like, oh, see,
way to go, yeah. Like again. So like if you and your buddies get the new planner and you're struggling with it because that's not your strength and they shouldn't be making fun of you because you're not like on the A team of full focus planning, right, Jimmy?
As soon as I said it, I was like,
the Holy Spirit said, "Oh yeah, Jimmy." Oh yeah.
As soon as I said it, I was like, I just set myself up. Oh gosh,
you dummy.
But no, you want to support those people, right? You don't want to come down on them. You want to support those people. We want to gently encourage them to be doing the things that they're trying to do. Because ultimately, we know that that's what's going to help them grow as an individual and as a follower of Christ.
In fact, it leads to this last point, right? If you can rejoice in what they are doing, right? If you can celebrate what they are doing, it will encourage them to celebrate what they're achieving.
Exactly. So when you do see success in your life, like be thankful for that. Be proud of it. And there's other ways of. I'm not just talking about rejoicing internally, but rejoice. Set yourself goals that if I'm able to stay consistent in this area for this amount of time, or if I'm able to achieve this goal, then you know what, I'm gonna go out for dinner. I'm gonna take my wife out for a really nice meal. I'm gonna go have a
big bowl of cheese dip and Netflix for 5 hours. Yeah, or whatever you like. I'm just saying.
Cheese dip?
Well, a big bowl of cheese dip, nacho, like chips, and you sit there and you watch like 5 hours of Netflix in the garage while you're smoking. No, I don't know if I'm just saying like some people might like that.
Your rejoice.
I'm just saying.
That sounds like your normal evening.
Reward? No. I only have cheese dip after I make it a successful run at something. Yeah,
okay. So, but I
haven't had it in a long time.
I know, but every other one is 5 hours of Netflix, cigar in the garage.
Maybe 3 hours. Yeah, late at night. I was up last night watching the fights.
Oh gosh, that was good.
Those were good.
And
sad.
Those were good.
Those were good fights.
Man, I wish you came over. You should have came over.
I was so tired, dude. Oh my gosh.
Man.
All right, so here we go. Achieving life balance. What we're working on is prioritization, feedback, making the adjustments as we go, consistency, persistence, and rejoicing, celebrating the good things that are happening in our lives. But we have a lot to learn here. We're still working on it. We'd like to hear what you guys are doing to achieve balance. Like, what are the resources that you like? What are the books, the planners, the apps?
Yeah.
Like, what do you use?
Help us out. Hashtag Doc and Devo GTD.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, hashtag Doc and Devo.
Going the distance.
GTD,
going the distance. Is that
getting things done?
Oh, is that okay? Yeah.
So we'd love to hear your thoughts, as Joe was talking about, and help us. Let us know what's working for you, what's not, what encourages you, what discourages you. We're all trying. We've all got callings, as Joe's talking about. We're all trying to get better at these things, and ultimately, we're striving to glorify God in all things.
Right.
At home, at work, in our spiritual life. And so let's support one another as we are moving towards this goal. Let's start now instead of December of 2018 when we start thinking about January 2019, New Year resolution.
Like that's a magic date that's going to make it easier.
You know what? Start now. Now is the time. For us, we began fourth quarter of this year to to really begin to get into that habit.
And then I ended in the fourth quarter.
Well, the fourth quarter's not done, Joe.
No,
You
but
still
I ended
got time.
in the fourth quarter.
But
I started. I already quit.
No, you're not. You could still do it, Joe.
Can I still do it?
You could still
You
do
were
it.
saying you were acting like I couldn't do it.
No, I think you could. I never said you couldn't.
No,
I told you could.
You rolled your eyes like. Pfft.
I did not roll
Yeah,
my eyes.
oh my
Don't
gosh.
lie like
You
that. You
rolled
know
your
that.
eyes.
I support you. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Those big brown eyes of yours, you look at me and you like roll them real big.
Stop it.
Gosh.
Stop it. You know that's not true. So anyways, hashtag Doc and Devo GTD. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Doc and Devo or on Facebook / Doctrine and Devotion. You can head on the website, docdevotion.com, that you can contact us. You can sign up for the email blast or hit up the store, joefostore.com, and grab some gear.
GTD.
You know what we also got going on?
I don't know.
In May 2019?
May showers?
No.
What?
We got... brings flowers,
Yeah.
but not Leighton flowers.
No, he ain't invited.
We got the Doc and Devo 2019 conference
Yeah,
on
it's gonna be
biblical
good.
theology. We got
It's gonna be good.
Dr. James Hamilton. We got
Hammy.
Hammy. We got Doug Logan.
Yep.
We got Steve McCoy.
Travell will be there.
For all them single ladies.
All the single ladies. Travell will be there looking good.
Yep. Who else? We got Phil and Jasmine
Except
Holmes.
he's got that cauliflower
we got Nick,
here.
Yeah, he got cauliflower. Ben, hey, are you going to get those, are you going to get them drained before?
The girls.
They can't be drained
My
anymore.
daughters were like, what is cauliflower ear? I heard you talk about that. And I said, well, you ever see Travell's ears? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, that's cauliflower ear. That's what happens.
He was a
when
wrestler.
I said that's what happens when you do drugs.
No.
And then that's what I told them. And so they're like, I'm staying away. The last thing they wanted them ears.
Someone didn't wear his headset or his head. What do you call it? Headset? You know what I'm talking about?
Is he listening to iTunes? What's
No,
he doing?
the headgear. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, someone wasn't wearing his headgear when he was wrestling.
All right,
Phil and Jasmine Holmes, Nick Batzig, and I think that's all of them. Fresh Pod every
Steve
month.
McCoy.
I just said him.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You left him out. I
said
didn't
it.
forget you, Steve.
What? I said it. Thank
No,
you,
you
Steve.
didn't. Whatever.
Fresh Pod every Monday, Thursday, blog posts on Wednesdays, video content when available later.